Let's get some prize picks in today, guys. Last night was a sweep on these first three picks here. These were the picks from the video. Scotty Barnes under rebounds, Denny under PRA, and Keldon Johnson under rebounds. Cashed all very easily, and I built up the slip with three more players into a 6-flex, as I said I wouldn't in the video, and hooked on Jalen Green last minute. He got this last bucket to absolutely destroy this entry. Terry Rozier under PRA hit, and Sabonis under rebounds hit. But basically this game went to OT, and even in OT he did not get 1 point. He just got that last bucket in the last minute and absolutely destroyed this entry. But I want to talk about the Scotty Barnes pick because honestly it was good while I was filming the video, and this is what I call a good pick gone bad. So essentially Siakam got ruled out outside the video, so basically after a couple hours before the game he got ruled out. So that is terrible for Scotty Barnes in terms of the under, right? Because Scotty Barnes' line got bumped all the way to 8.5 on the sports books, and it was 8 on Prizepicks. So this is a good example of a bad pick still hitting. So this pick is actually no longer good once Siakam gets announced in the lineup, yet it still hit. Why is that? Because over a 1-game sample size, anything could happen. So even though this was technically a bad pick, I'll say that right now, well, it was good before Siakam got ruled out, but it turned in bad pick, it still hit. So this is why I try to say, just because your picks are bad doesn't mean they won't hit, and just because your picks are good doesn't mean they will hit. I try to explain this in the videos that all these picks I'm putting are good, does not mean they will hit over a long sample size, which I have. Like, I have definitive proof of my entries here on the Discord. You can see cumulative profits over time goes up gradually over time, right? That's kind of how it works, not over the day. Over the day, you could be in a downward slump like this, right? This day was good, drop down to this day, very bad. Same thing right now, we're in kind of a slump on the Discord, right? Past 3 days have been bad, but in the long run, when you're taking these positive expected value plays, when you're making these nice correlated slips, your graph starts to look like this, and this is over 7 weeks, right? It's not over one night, it's over 7 weeks. So in general, the Scotty Barnes pick turned bad, but the Denny pick and the Keldon Johnson pick were still good in terms of positive expected value, and they ended up hitting. Overall, that's kind of how you want to be thinking in the long run, not day by day. You do want to continue getting these edges. Honestly, the best edge is during lineups when they're getting announced, and essentially if you get into prize picks right as soon as you hear Siakam is out, you know that Scotty Barnes is going to get bumped. Grab his over 7.5. That would have been the good play. Even though it didn't hit, it would hit in the long run. That's all I'm talking about, the long run. So on the board, there's not much. I was going to do 3 picks in this video, but honestly, as I'm recording, one of these picks got bumped. It was going to be Derek Jones on the under 5.5 rebounds. Got bumped to 5. I still think it's decent at 5, but I'm not going to be going over an analysis on this. At under 5.5, it was an absolute great pick, but I'm going to go with the other 2 I had planned, which the first one would be Kyrie Irving on the under 6.5 assists. So Luka Doncic is out tonight. That is confirmed. We can take a look at some analysis on Kyrie Irving, and essentially in this whole season, he's only hit this 4 out of 22 times. But of course, you can't really consider that with Doncic out. It's a whole different ball game, right? So originally why I took him in the first place is on OddsJuice, we did flag him as a positive expected value pick, meaning he is at the least minus 119. So minus 120 in this case with a 54.5% likeliness to hit. You can see some other sportsbooks do agree with that. FanDuel and BetMGM have him juiced towards that under, all the way up at minus 140 on BetMGM. So that's good to see the juice is in our favor. Now they are up against the Knicks, strong defense, 18 points allowed, first in rebounds allowed, and 11th in assists allowed. But mainly we have to consider is that Doncic is out, as I previously said. And in the 2 games with Doncic out this season, Kyrie Irving has actually went under at 5 assists and 5 assists. Now I'm thinking that Kyrie is mainly going to take a points scoring role. I mean, he didn't do it last time when Doncic was out. You can see he only got 10 and 24 points. But if Kyrie is scoring a lot and kind of carrying the team on the points department, he's not going to be assisting as much. And honestly, I just don't see him hitting the 6.5 assists. We could check his game logs without Doncic, including last year. So obviously up until here, back then he was with Brooklyn, but he had played a lot of minutes. Like, look at these games, 37, 35, 39, 33, and even this season, 36 minutes and 29. Versus Portland, it was a blowout. We're going to get into that in a little bit. It has only cleared this over 6.5 one time where he got 10 assists versus Sacramento last year. This year, he got 5 assists and 5 assists in both games. So we'll take a deeper look into the Memphis game and the Portland game. So on the Memphis game, this was a bit of a closer game compared to the Portland game. You can see it wasn't a blowout. Going into the 4th, they were only down a couple points, and then they lost in the 4th under a 7-point lead. But the Mavs lineup was Derek Jones, Josh Green, Grant Williams, and Derek Lively. Now tonight, Grant Williams is questionable. I'm guessing the lineup is going to look more like this with Jaden Hardy, Kyrie Irving, Dwight Powell, Josh Green, and Derek Jones. Now, RotoWire also has this expected lineup with Jaden Hardy, Kyrie, Josh Green, Derek Jones, Dwight Powell. You can see Grant Williams is game time decision, and it's a gray mark, which kind of means that he's unlikely to play. Doncic completely out, and Dante Exum also out. So what I'm seeing by this is in 2 different game scripts here, this was a complete blowout for the Mavs. a bit less minutes for Kyrie. He still didn't clear this 6.5 assists. And then same thing in a bit of a closer game, which tonight is expected to be. Mavs are at home. It's a very similar concept, and the Grizzlies are much worse than the Knicks, right? So I do think it's a good matchup for Kyrie's under, especially because he got 36 minutes in this game and still did not clear the 5 assists. So Kyrie Irving under 6.5 assists is the first play for today. And the second one, I'm really, really loving. Hopefully this is not bumped by the time I type this in. It's going to be Kevin Durant on the over 26.5 points, guys. I really think it's going to get bumped to 27, maybe even 27.5. So make sure you're getting this in as soon as you watch this video. So what I'm liking about this, I mean, first of all, he's set at 27.5 on FanDuel only, but every other sportsbook has him at 26.5, juice towards the over, except BetMGM. They seem to be the only outlier in this case. But the reason I found him in the first place is because of the dashboard where I found Kevin Durant over 26.5 points, juice to -122 or 55% likeness to hit. Now look at this game log, guys. Cleared the over 27.5 20 out of 30 times this season, and that's at 27.5. Remember, we're getting him at 26.5, where we get an extra 3 games in our favor. So that's 77% of the times this season he has cleared it. Tonight, they are playing versus the Lakers with an extremely tight spread. This game is definitely going to go down to the wire. A lot of minutes in the last few minutes, maybe some more free throws for Kevin Durant, things like this. A lot of opportunity for points with a lot of minutes. -1 spread. Hopefully the Suns only win by like 1 or 2, and it's going to be very nice for our over here. And there's even a higher probability of overtime where, of course, Kevin Durant will get at least another 3 points. So a lot of opportunity for Kevin Durant to get points. Now, I also said they are playing away, where Kevin Durant has slightly better splits at an 85% hit rate in the away games this season. So everything's pointing towards that over right now, of course. Now, another thing to consider, Lakers defense, I mean, they're 16th in points allowed, so right about the middle of the NBA. I'm kind of liking that. So it's not like the Suns will not be scoring tonight. Last thing to consider is, of course, this is every single Kevin Durant game this season. But some of these games were without Devin Booker, some of them were without Bradley Beal. So let's see how he fares with this full lineup here. Nurkic, Allen, Beal, and Booker. And we could throw them all in together. And he still has cleared this 3 out of 5 times. It's a bit, of a small sample size to kind of base this off of. But I do want to see him with the main guys here with Booker and Beal. So we'll check him with Booker alone for now. And with Booker, he has still cleared this 81% of the time this season. And we'll check him with Beal also, and he has still cleared this 6 out of 9 times. I mean, everything kind of points towards the direction of this over. I don't even really have to project minutes. Whether he gets like 30 or whatever, he's still going to be cashing this quite often. So 79% hit rate with 30 and above minutes, which I think he easily gets at least 30 minutes tonight. He averages 37 a game, right? So not too worried about this prop. I'm really loving this. At most, I would take it at 27, but you really want to get these lines as early as possible because every half point you're losing, you're missing value. Imagine we got Scotty Barnes at 7 last night, we would have pushed instead of 1. So that's just an example of why you always want to be getting the best lines as soon as possible. So that is the picks for today's video. Do not put these in a 2-power. I have a whole video explaining why 2 powers are terrible. It's right here. Put these into a 6 flex.